says you need a vacation for a view like this? Or, I wish there was a place to get in shape. Try getting on the beaten path. Discover an ever-expanding network of trails and greenways. Some quintessential southern beauty. Or romp through the woods in a magical land between the rivers. There's more to explore than you ever imagined. Beyond the swing sets. Breck, we are more than a playground.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hello and welcome as we start week 3 of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach, Roger Cador. How are you, big fella?
I'm doing good, and you?
I am doing well. I woke up this morning. God blessed me to be a citizen of the greatest country on the face of his green earth. I get to hang out with a guy from Point Capee and the island side of New Roads. Life is good, Coach.
Hey, listen, nobody play loud music in front of you. That guy didn't come and play his loud music.
The day's still early. The day is still early.
Oh,
Speaking of things finally happening, we'll start with LSU Tiger football. The Tigers finally dominate a team they were supposed to dominate.
They certainly did, and you know, it's been improvement from each week, and hopefully that is enough to go play a team that lost a game they should have won. That's not always good.
No.
But I think LSU is up to the task to go and play Mississippi State.
One of the things that may have influenced the outcome more than other things was the fact that LSU was able to jump out early, 21-0 first quarter. That always makes things easier when you are presented opportunities and you capitalize on them early in the game.
And it allows you to play a lot of different combinations, look at a few more players, because now you're going into a game that matters, an SEC game. So now you may have discovered that that certain guy that hadn't played much maybe can help you in certain spots.
Right. Right. Well, we have highlights from the weekend's game at Tiger Stadium. So if you will, guys in the truck, feel free. You can roll those highlights as Coach and I continue our conversation. One of the things that stood out to me was, for the first time, if memory serves correct, so far this season, LSU scored at least one touchdown in every quarter. Consistency is the key in developing a top-notch team, is it not?
I would say so. You want to be consistent across the board. You know, we talked about the 3 phases that you football have to have. You want to have a good offense. You really want to have a good defense, and the specialty team is a key element. I remember when the legendary George Allen was coaching, Of course, he coached professional football, but he talked about his specialty team. His special team was the key because they could do so much with the special team.
Right.
Block field goal, block a punt, and or someone kick the ball, make them start deep in their own territory.
It is one of those aspects of the game that unfortunately many folks don't specialize in nearly as much as they should. But at the end of the game, as you mentioned, the game is comprised of three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. You mentioned earlier the opportunity to get to play some kids that normally you wouldn't. Two freshman receivers particularly, Deion Smith and Jack Besh, combined for over 200 yards and 3 TDs. Conventional wisdom says that's going to pay some dividends for you further down the road.
It probably will. Those kids are building that confidence that they can contribute now. And the quarterback is going to have the confidence that he could depend on them making the catch. It's more than it's a game within a game, and it's a psychological game that everybody plays when you're going to be successful.
Unfortunately, though, the rushing attack, I would categorize it as being modest at best. Maybe go so far as to call it anemic. 84 yards on 24 carries. I would have hoped that LSU would have rushed for more yardage than that against this team.
Well, maybe they were better against the run than they were against the pass. So, but I think this is something that they can build upon. Your running game is the most difficult part of trying to get your offensive linemen in the right place and doing the right thing.
Right.
I mean, the key blocking, reading the keys and being able to open the gap, the runners being able to get through them. I mean, there's a lot of things that's in that small space that we can't see unless we see a replay. That has to happen.
Now, on the other side of the coin, the defense, 5 sacks total on the game and a scoop and score for a touchdown. When the defense is contributing to the point total, it's hard to argue with that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what you want. All three phases of the game making a contribution.
2 coverage busts. 49-21 final score. But as much as I want to heap all that praise on the defense for rising to the occasion, the old adage is one oops wipes out 100 attaboys. You can do 100 great things. Attaboy, way to go. Everybody patting you on the back. But all it takes is one oops, and it wipes all of that out. 2 blown coverages made the final score look a whole lot closer than what it actually was.
Well, I don't think one oop wipe up attaboy, 100 of them.
It does to the street committee.
They don't understand. I mean, as coaches, we have to stay and reward kids with positive reinforcement in order to be able to tell them about the things they didn't do well.
Right.
I think if you're positive with them, it helps. But if you're negative all the time, kids don't want to hear that anymore. So they want to hear about the positive things that they did do. Attaboy.
I think back to my days of playing Little League baseball or organized football or whatever the season was at the time. We didn't have a problem if we didn't play to expectations, we didn't live up to our potential. If after the game when coach said, all right, huddle around, and he would lay into us and tell us in no uncertain terms, y'all are better than this, we practiced on this, we're going to work our butts off on it. We didn't have a problem with that because we wanted to get better. Where did we go wrong with all of this? Where did it change?
I don't know what changed during my coaching career, so I don't know when, but in the 80s and 90s, I could really, and early 2000s, so around 2010 on up, things change.
Right.
Because the makeup of the American family change, I guess.
Uh-huh.
That's the best way I can put it.
Right.
Because the product came from a family situation to us.
Right.
And that's why the change
Right.
occur in the family. Because now people felt, you can't say, you can't be ugly to my son.
Right.
Or my daughter. You can't say that to him. Well, in the heat of battle, in the way you're trying to teach and get kids better, you say things.
Well, yeah.
But it's not meant to hurt them.
No.
It's meant to help them get better.
And you talk about that difference, that change. Our parents wanted the coaches to be tough on us. They wanted them to instill within us the fact that, you know what, life is not fair. And you're going to come up against some situations where the opposition is greater than you are. And no matter what you do, you're going to come out on the losing end. But there's a way to handle that, and you use that to grow and become better. It truly is a different day now, isn't it?
Oh, man, it's so different. As I mentioned, it's, you know, from when I first started coaching to around 2010,
Right.
It had changed. And it's not for the best, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think so.
Historically, coaches aren't going to try and harm kids, historically.
Right.
Now, we've had that
Well,
one
of course.
bad apple
Of course.
make it bad for everybody.
That's for anything in life.
Yeah, but historically, coaches help kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. That's part of teaching.
Right.
That's part of making winners out of them.
Uh-huh.
You know, but you know, I don't know what happened. Something happened, and I think what happened, Clarence, is when someone who is not qualified,
Yep.
coaches kid, that's probably where it all started.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because now the parents can come in.
Right, right. And the thing that gets me, particularly in the community of people that look like you and I do, with over 70% of the kids born today being born to single parent households. And God bless them, there are some wonderful single mothers out there. There are some that you wouldn't trade for anything. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, when a young male reaches a certain age, for many of them, you need a father figure to step in, crack the whip, hold them accountable, and help raise them to be young men. This doesn't help us at all in that regard. And for many of our young people, that's the only real male role model they will ever have.
Well, you can't wait till they grow. You got to have them from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, it's too late once they reach a certain age.
Uh-huh.
But that father figure needs to be that nourishing them from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the kid is sick and he's holding them at night, walking them,
Right.
getting them well. You develop them a bond there.
Uh-huh.
It's a bond that developed at a tender age that you can't develop at a different age.
Nope.
That's why you got to be there all along. So, yeah, I agree. When there is no father there, it's tough. And mothers have done a really good job because majority of the kids I coached were single mothers.
Oh, yeah.
And they were really wonderful young people
Mm-hmm.
where the mother had done a really outstanding job. So, you know, everything is good. Everything is good.
Up next, Mississippi State. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be mad. And LSU's going to have to play their best game to come out of Starkville with a win, Coach.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You want to show improvement. You want to make sure you keep your mistakes to a minimum and take advantage of their mistakes.
Mm-hmm. And that way, you can keep them doggone cowbells in their laps where it belongs. Just saying. Just saying. When we come back, we're going to shift gears from purple and gold to blue and gold as we continue today's edition of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to week 3 of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Coach, a heartbreaking loss for the Jaguars, taking on in-state competition, McNeese State. It's always a heartbreaker when halfway through the game, you head to the locker room, getting ready to make adjustments, discuss what's happened. You're up 21-10.
Yep.
And you end up losing the game 31-24.
Well, mistakes. They made some mistakes, turnovers, and that cost, cost them an opportunity to win. Plus, the quarterback didn't do anything in the second half. You got to keep improving. It's just like you in athletic competition. I hate to use this term, but if you got someone down, you want to put your knee on his neck a little harder,
right?
Or your foot.
Put your foot on it.
And that's the way, that's a word used or a term used to help you understand. That's how you discourage them from trying to come back.
Now, speaking of discouraging them from coming back, obviously McNeese was not discouraged in the least. Got to give them credit. They battled back, Coach.
They certainly did. And Frank Wilson is doing a good job over there. So it's, Southern is competitive. But you got to win these games. You got to win them.
Well, we have highlights from A.W. Mumford Stadium up on the absolutely gorgeous bluffs in North Baton Rouge. So we will roll the highlights as Coach and I continue our conversation. You mentioned turnovers. Add to that penalties at inopportune times and turnovers. That's a recipe for killing momentum and your chance to win, isn't it?
Oh yeah. When you have those two things, turnovers and penalties, those are bad things.
I found it real interesting looking at the 31-24 score. A lot of times the box score or the stat sheet, whatever you want to call it, will tell you more than anything else. I found it real interesting that Southern outgained McNeese State in total yardage, 355 yards to 263. They led in just about every important statistical category and still came away with a loss.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you they made mistakes. They turned the ball over and they got penalties. You know, they should have won the game. When you do that kind of domination.
Of course, now, the old folk tell you the frog should hold his butt up a little higher when he jump from lily pad to lily pad, and he won't bump his butt on the lily pad.
Who?
The frog.
Oh, the frog.
Yeah, if you hold his butt up a little higher, he wouldn't bump it when he hopped from lily. So what you should do is not necessarily always what you do. And of course, as you have pointed out many times over many years, these are still young people that we're talking about.
Oh yeah, and remember, not only they're young, but they're not the same quality at the top 5 conference players.
Right.
These kids have less ability.
Yeah.
You got me? So they're going to struggle a little more with execution, even though they do a good job.
Speaking of that particular aspect, at HBCUs, with the advent of integration, we obviously at that point started losing that lock on the very best athletes. Have we been able to stem that tide any? Or has it just gotten progressively worse? The rich have gotten richer and the poor schools have gotten poorer.
Rich has gotten richer, poor gotten poor. And I expect that to continue into the future as they get, especially if they're going to start doing money, financial benefits.
Yeah.
The top 5 conferences.
Yeah.
Why would the kids go to?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
Will the transfer portal mitigate that any, or do you think it will just be redistributing wealth from the big conferences to other schools in the conference?
Well, it's difficult to say, but I can say this. There won't be a stampede of kids coming
Right.
to one particular school.
Right.
There'll be a trickle down to a school here, school there. But, you know, they're going to stay with the top 5 conferences.
Unless, of course, you're talking about that outlier situation where a kid might want to transfer to play for the likes of a Prime Time, Coach
Yes.
Prime at Jackson State. That's going to be the exception more than the rule, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's more the exception than the rule.
Only 15,000 at Mumford for an in-state game against McNeese. What does your gut tell you? Will the Jaguar Nation show up this week in Jackson? Because you know how we travel.
No,
Jaguar fans love to travel.
Going. It's Mississippi Valley.
Yeah, but it's Jackson. It's
What's going on in Jackson? They may have a couple of thousand ago, but not like if they were playing Jackson State or Auburn.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a little different.
How much of this, what we saw, all the empty seats at Mumford for McNeese, how much is that, does your gut tell you, is the aftermath of Hurricane Ida? I mean, we got a lot of folk that were hit pretty hard and all of a sudden now don't have that disposable income to grab the wife and the kids and throw them in the car, the SUV, and let's go up and watch a game.
You better not say throw them in the car. You better watch how you say that. Say, we get in the car. Throw in the car don't work. But I'll agree with you.
That's what we've become.
Yeah, but I'll agree with you. Ida did affect some of that. And, you know, the disposable income is something that we've been talking about for years.
Oh, yeah.
And COVID-19.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's so many things that has gone wrong that you never want to have happen.
Perfect storm at the worst possible time?
Yeah. If you, well, I hate to say a perfect storm because.
Well, yeah, but they understand what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's the worst time that this could have happened because schools like Southern, they need all the fan support they can get.
Oh, yeah. So let's cut to the chase here, Coach. When you have a product and you have an aging clientele, When I grew up, there were people at Mumford Stadium that had season tickets for years and years and years and years. And when they got too old to comfortably attend the game, the kids got those tickets. And if you knew anything about that household, you could look in the crowd and say, well, old man Johnson may not be here, but there's Junior and his new wife, and they got their new baby. That's not happening anymore. Combine that with so many other avenues to spend your disposable income, and you look up, and we got only 15,000 people show up for a football game. Is there a magic potion to fix what we're watching unfold in front of our eyes? And it's not just Southern, for the record. It's HBCUs all across the country.
And it's just HBCUs. There's a whole bunch of other schools.
Yeah.
But let's get back to Southern when you're talking about when the people get too old, they pass the season book down to the kids. Remember, the kids that they're passing down to ain't here no more. They done taken a job.
Good point.
They've left the city
Good point.
and the state
Good point.
to go get a better paying job.
Good point.
I mean, that has happened in great numbers.
If you're lucky, they'll fly in for the Bayou Classic
or homecoming,
and then they're gone. You never see them again.
Yeah. So, no, that's one of the things that has happened, because I know exactly what you were talking about. For so many years, they were passing those tickets down. Season. But now, in the 90s, 2000, people go get that better paying job. On the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, they go. Dallas and Houston.
At what point, Coach, do you, and not saying we're there or anything of that magnitude, but at what point do you cut your losses? Meaning, we're only generating X amount of revenue from what at one point was the mainstay of the entire athletic department. At what point do you start reshuffling priorities and programs to focus more on the core mission of the university? Or can you not ever have that conversation because traditionally everything's been built around the amount of revenue generated from one sport, one time of the year?
If you want to get rain out of Baton Rouge, you go have that conversation. I love Clarence.
but you know me, Coach. I'm not afraid. I don't shy away from talking about the issues that are affecting us, and it is what it is.
I love it. I just don't want to see you running.
Hey, who is that? That's Clarence. He all the way down Florida Boulevard. He ain't stopped running yet.
Listen, that stuff there have been some roundtable discussion concerning this. And this, with the board that we have, they're not going to do it. I remember there was a president, and I don't want to call him name. You want to protect the innocent.
Right.
20-some years ago, they talked about, hey, Southern leaving the SWAC and maybe bring Grambling with them, and we go join another.
Oh, that's heresy.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
the guy
heresy.
said, we'll die. We'll go bankrupt before we leave the other schools. So, see, the attitude is different on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Hampton, North Carolina A&T, they've left the traditional black school for survival. They did it because that's the only way they can survive.
That's right.
But we say we'll die, and that's not smart. If you say you'll die, rather than try to survive by making adjustments.
Yeah, and not only will you die, the institution
will die. Yeah,
and that's not acceptable.
And athletics has to be a part of an institution for the kids. I mean, it's something about athletics at the institution. Duke is a education higher learning. Stanford, but they give them athletics.
Yeah. It's something we can all unite around.
Yeah. So you got to have it, but you might be able to have to look long term. Listen, we have done a good job with what we had for so many years, but you might have to look 30 years down the road or 40, which we're afraid to do.
Yeah.
But you have to. Everything will change.
That's right. And nowadays, if you're not moving forward, you're standing still. If you're standing still, you may as well be moving back. Just saying.
Just saying.
We've covered purple and gold, blue and gold. After this break, black and gold. When we continue today's edition, week 3 of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient. They're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Who says you need a vacation for a view like this? Or, I wish there was a place to get in shape. Try getting on the beaten path. Discover an ever-expanding network of trails and greenways. Some quintessential southern beauty. Or romp through the woods in a magical land between the rivers. There's more to explore than you ever imagined. Beyond the swing sets. Breck, we are more than a playground.
Welcome back to today's edition, week 3 of the Roger Cador Show. A question, Coach. Are you, as a native New Rhodian, a Point Capian, I don't know which one would be appropriate. You a motorcycle rider?
Never rode one in my life. Don't intend to.
Really?
Don't have no desire.
What about four-wheelers or three-wheelers, ATVs?
I rode a golf cart. That's about it.
Well, if you are like Coach, first of all, let me tell you, you have no idea what you're missing. There is, and Marty would be the first one to agree, there's something Marty loves about having something big and hot between his legs. That's just Marty.
Oh, my.
And black on top of that.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, on top, it's parked right out front, as a matter of fact. But one thing I can imagine, even though Coach is not a motorcycle rider, if he were to decide, you know what, I think I need to try this. I want to see what everybody's talking about and see, who knows, maybe I'm missing out on something great, riding out in the woods on a four-wheeler or ATV or whatever. Knowing you being the people person that you are, if you decided that you wanted to check it out, you would want to deal with some people that are people persons, people that understand and appreciate South Louisiana, our values, what good service means to us, and probably more important, service after the sale. So if you were to decide, I've got to imagine the folks at Cal Meets Power Sports would probably be the first people you'd go see.
Plus, I know them.
Well, that always helps. That always helps. Yeah.
I knew that Daddy Butch when he was alive, and then Kevin and Casey. Obviously, I told you I recruited them, so there's a relationship there.
When you talk about relationships, and you are the relationship guru, can you stress how important it is when you're making an investment? And let's be honest, when you're talking about a brand new motorcycle, ATV, 4Runner, 4-wheeler, that's a sizable investment. You don't want to just trust that to just anybody, do you?
Right, and they have lawnmowers too over there. I saw some beautiful lawnmowers.
Jet skis, the whole nine.
I mean, they got everything. So, yeah, but you want to deal with someone that you trust and that you could, there are things you can discuss with people you trust.
Yep.
You maybe can't discuss with just another salesperson.
And I don't know about you guys and girls, but if I'm going to buy something that I'm going to use in Louisiana, I want to buy it from somebody who can spell a Chafalaya. I want to buy from somebody who knows what etouffee is. I want to buy from somebody that knows what the red stick is when I'm talking to them. If you like me, if you like Coach, if you like good service, top-notch products, and dealing with people that understand not just lagniappe, but how Louisianians think and feel, go see our friends at Cal Meets Power Sports. It is something that you owe to yourself. Now, nothing wrong with looking around at other dealers, checking around with other folks, but you're doing yourself a serious disservice if you don't give the good folks at Cal Meets the opportunity to earn your business. And trust me, they'll do just that. Let's switch gears, Coach. We knew it was going to happen at some point in the season. Those of us that have watched the Saints over the years, we knew after this just absolute brilliant, sterling performance against Green Bay, we were all sitting around going, okay, now when are we going to see the game roll around where they do the exact opposite of this great performance against Green Bay? Well, we didn't have to wait long, did we?
Well, did they have some COVID activity?
They had coaches that were out and players that were out, primarily due to injury. So did all of this just finally catch up with them?
Well, I'm thinking, someone talked to me and I said, the one thing you don't want to do very often is play with your number 2 players.
Right.
Especially at that level.
At that level.
You don't want number 2 going against number 1. Number 1 usually going to win out. And Carolina is obviously better than people think they were.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And with this quarterback, Donalds, he just needed some support. He was not a bad quarterback.
And that's the case with most bad NFL quarterbacks. They just don't have the supporting cast.
Right. And they put him in the system down there, and he is looking good. Plus, that's a good coach.
Yeah.
The head coach, and they got the quarterback, the offensive coordinator, who came from this LSU and the Saints.
Brady. Joe Brady.
Joe Brady.
Yeah.
So they, the system is pretty simple, and so they look pretty good.
Let's roll the highlights from. Well, actually, they will be the lowlights from this particular game. But you understand. The sentiment.
Low life, huh?
We were talking about the stat sheet and box scores and the likes, and how it reveals certain things to you. And you can see in your mind how the game unfolded without being there. When you look at the time of possession, Carolina had the ball 17 minutes more than the Saints. That pretty much tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it?
That means they were running the ball, Clarence. That tells me right there they had a decent running game. because you're not going to control it passing that many minutes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, 17 minutes, you can do a whole, you know how many drives you can put together in 17 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
That is one lopsided stat that will reveal a whole lot to you just by itself. A lot of folks immediately were saying, well, we knew it wasn't going to be long before the old Jameis Winston materialized, but no way you put this loss all on his shoulders.
They had no running game.
Yeah.
Listen, Winston is only going to be effective if they can run the ball.
Uh-huh.
That's what most quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be able to run it.
Once you instill the fear of the team running the ball, that opens the door for the play-action fake to start throwing the ball. Then you can loosen that defense up. But the Panthers made no secret about the fact, and I'm sure they looked at the offensive front for the Saints with the injuries that were there. They let everybody know up front, our game plan is to get after Jameis Winston, because if we do that, that's when he's prone to making mistakes. But not just Winston, anybody in that regard. If you're running for your life all day, you are probably going to make some bad decisions here and there.
Oh, yeah, you make a lot of them. Tom Brady is the one guy that don't have to run because his line gives him just enough time to get rid of the ball.
And, of course, up until his retirement, Drew Brees was the guy with such a quick release and able to go through the progressions quickly that if the line is porous, I'm under duress, we're still going to be able to move the ball.
Listen, there's only a few people been able to do it over the years.
True.
Very few, so I agree with you.
You look at the fact that living out of town because of Ida, COVID decimating the ranks of coaches, and, of course, injuries that come along with the game of football. Sean Payton has made a living over the years being able to use what he has, whatever that is, and fashion a game plan and a system around what you have. This may be his toughest yet to deal with. Agree or disagree?
Let's just see. I don't know yet. They only played 2 games, so I'd like to see them play a little more, go down the season.
What would you tell your teams when you were coaching that would have one game, look great, world beaters, got the fundamentals down pat, take advantage of every opportunity given to us? Very next game, look like Sister Christie's Sisters of the Poor junior varsity. What do you tell them, Coach?
Let's get ready for the next game.
Yeah?
Which in baseball, maybe 2 or 3 days we would be playing another game. So, you know.
You got a little time to get it out your system.
Yeah, get it out.
Can't dwell on it because you got another one coming up day after tomorrow.
That's the key. So, you know, you just don't let people carry load on their shoulders from one game to the other.
Right. Yeah. Those of us that are members of the community of faith, we abide by the saying that God has told us there are 2 days you can't worry about. Yesterday and tomorrow.
You can't worry about them.
Can't worry about it.
You know what yesterday brought, but you don't know what tomorrow will.
Yep.
Yeah.
All you can control is what you have right here, right now.
That was pretty good, Mr. Clarence Bugs.
I passed the collection plate and we can go on home.
Oh, my goodness, the plate.
Final break of today's show. Going to go into some territory that we haven't covered over the last couple of weeks when we come back and wrap up today's edition of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
What a beautiful world.
Amen.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946. Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg, we just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the final segment of week 3 of the Roger Cador Show 2021. It all kind of starts to run together. Can you believe that we are mere days away from the start of the championship run for Major League Baseball? This year, with COVID and everything else going on, the time just seems like it flies by, Coach.
Yeah, I would rather say we are days away from the end of the season because there are a lot of baseball left to be played that means something.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are teams fighting. Like, for instance, in the East, in the NFL, I mean, in National League, we got Atlanta is a couple of games up on the Phillies.
Right.
And then the Mets are still in the hunt. And then you got Cincinnati is in the hunt in the Midwest or Central. And you got the Dodgers and Padres fighting it out. I mean, Dodgers and Giants fighting it out over there in the West. So we moved to the American League, and the biggest one, Astros, is leading Oakland by I think 4 or 5 games. So it's really a lot going on, and they got teams fighting for the wild card, which is very interesting.
My Yankees trying to do everything within their power to ruin playoff chances, but that's a different show for a different day. One of the things that you and I talked about not so very long ago, and you being so steeped in the tradition of baseball the way you are, you noticed it right off the bat, where casual fans may not have paid a whole lot of attention to it. Home run celebrations. You embrace this concept wholeheartedly, don't you?
I've been doing it because, you know, Major League Baseball had a history of pitchers throwing at someone if they celebrate for hitting a home run. And that was, to me, was always a sad thing, because why would you do that when the fans who pay your salary love it? They love the celebration.
Well, you made the guy look bad, Coach. You got to take it out on somebody.
Well, if you strike him out, you make him look bad. And,
True.
Come on, pitchers.
True.
So finally they got and I think Manfred has done a good job of probably saying, hey, guys, we got to let people celebrate. It's good. We got to get younger people back to the game.
Right.
They're going to, young people want to see celebration.
Yeah. Now, I've got to ask. I got to go here, because we've seen before where organized sports acquiescing to what, quote, the fans want to see as far as celebrations and things of that nature. And you're going to have some folk that are going to take liberties that are not theirs to take. Do you have any concern, or do you think the commissioner has his finger on the pulse such that you're not going to have to worry about somebody doing something in the celebration that ends up leading to a bench clearing brawl or something that puts a black eye on the game?
Yeah, that's Fernando Tatis hitting the ball right here. And there's always the possibility of some insecure person doing something stupid.
Right.
I agree with you. But I think they've got some things in place now where they're saying, let it go. We got to sell our product.
Right.
To so you can keep making the big salaries. So I think everything is under control. I think players are going to celebrate within the rim of reality.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so, because the fans deserve to see their favorite players acknowledge them when they do something noteworthy.
That's right.
You and I grew up in an era where a lot of phrases were coined, a lot of philosophies were formed, and one of those that we learned early in life was that there's an old saying, records are made to be broken.
That's right.
We make a whole lot of whoop-de-doo when a new record is broken. Man, I saw history. Never thought this would happen. But the reason we keep records is for somebody, hopefully, one day to break it. Catcher Salvador Perez, Kansas City Royals, recently broke the 51-year-old record of Johnny Bench for home runs in a single season as a primary catcher, meaning you have to be a catcher for a minimum 75% of the games on the schedule. He broke the record. Johnny Bench, and I mean, I know who he was, so you know how old I am. You know full well all about Johnny Bench. How tough is it for a catcher that is behind the plate for a minimum 75% of the games in this long, grueling major league season to break a record that stood for 51 years?
Well, that's why it stood for 51 years. Plus, there ain't that many good hitting catchers.
Good point.
Like Salvador Perez.
Yeah.
But I want to veer off that for a reason. You said records are made to be broken.
Right.
Unless you play in Japan and you're in America trying to break Sada record.
Well, yeah, good point.
That ain't going to let you happen.
No.
I need to go to that because that's a part of history.
Yeah.
Randy Bush was a guy playing there, and he was about to needed a home run, and he wouldn't. They didn't pitch to him.
Wow.
They would not let him break the record because the Japanese people had so much pride in their hero, Sada.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him do it. So,
yeah.
But Salvador's is not only a great hitter, he may be the best catcher that's over there right now.
Doesn't what was done in Sato's case, doesn't that, though, go against the spirit of competition? Here's what I mean. If I'm the pitcher, and I know if this guy goes yard on me, I'm going to be in the record books as the guy who gave up the record-breaking home run.
Yeah.
But I also want to be the guy that can tell my grandkids years from now, he may have been the best, but the day I faced him, when he had the chance to break the record, Pawpaw shut him down. Doesn't that go against the spirit of competition?
It does. But when Japan was playing career in the World Classic, what's that great player played for Seattle? Suzuki.
I know you're talking about. I got a brain block. It's right on my tongue.
Yeah, but Ichiro. That was a situation would never happen in America. Americans could talk about Japanese, but in America, the manager went out. It was a situation with the winning run on second base. 2 outs. Ichiro was the hitter.
Right.
First base is open.
Right.
And the manager went out to the mound and he told the guy, we pitched him. Remember, you played Japan against Korea.
Right.
In the World Classic. And I called everybody who understood that situation.
Right.
said this never would have happened in America.
Oh, no.
Nobody in their right mind.
No.
But because of the spirit of competition between the two countries, let's pitch to it.
Yeah.
And what happened? He fouled off a bunch of pitchers with 2 strikes, and he got the hit to beat him.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Well, that's what I mean. That was one of the best experiences I've seen at the professional level when Career pitched to Ichiro. I mean, Marty knew about it. He might have looked at it.
Has the desire to win in the American psyche now overtaken the will to be the best?
Remember, in the Negro League, they would have never walked Josh Gibson. Satchel Paige wouldn't have walked Josh Gibson. The people came to see that.
They came to see that matchup.
That matchup.
Yeah.
Never would happen. But in America, at a different level,
it's what we've become.
We make cowards out of people.
Wow.
People come to see the matchup.
Yeah.
This is what they want.
That's as good as it will ever get.
People will remember that matchup and say, whoever won if he struck him out or he got a hit, oh man, it was a great situation.
Yeah.
And this happened. I mean, this is what made the game great. And this is what is taking away some of the greatness out of it, because you're taking away the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat. Ooh, Mr. McGay.
Speaking of things being taken away. Well, you could say taken away. You could also say added to. African Americans in baseball, particularly on the major league level, we have pretty much been supplanted now as far as the best in the game by the players from Latin America.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's been happening. They're the best players in the game. Period. Overall, yeah, because and they're all young. You know, they all are young, and they're coming from Venezuela, and they're coming from Dominican.
Yeah.
And the next big place that the players will be coming from is Brazil. Watch for Brazil. 360 million people, and then Major League Baseball has put an academy over there. They know they're coming. It may be 20 years,
right?
But they're coming.
Right.
They're coming, and why are they coming? Because they're hungrier. They're hungry. You know, soccer is big there, but they got a lot of good baseball players coming from Brazil. So let's watch and see what happens. Dominican and Venezuela ain't going away.
Oh, no.
They're not going away, because that is what they got. Too many good players, and everybody want to be like someone from there.
I was going to say, and they strive to be the best.
That's right.
And understanding MLB is where the best play, well, they already have it's already charted out what their ambitions are, what their goals are, and where they want to be. Well, our time is up, y'all, and we have to wrap up week 3 of the Coach Roger Cador Show. It has been such a pleasure to be with you, and of course we look forward to being back with you for week 4's edition right here. On behalf of the coach, Alan, Marty, Jonathan, Kate, the entire crew, I'm Clarence Buggs. We'll see you next week with another edition of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Okay.